Good evening. And it's not Monday. It's actually Wednesday night. Um, yeah, Adepticon. Honestly don't know where to begin. It was great. It was great. Saw a lot of things. Talked to a lot of people. New friends, old friends. It was good. Um, yeah, long day. Monday driving back. Tuesday. Yeah, I was tired. uh, Doctor's appointment too. I just didn't get around to doing this. Gave Mike the day off today, so once again, busy day today. So, but I did want to go ahead and make. I say this is going to be short. We'll see. Probably two parts. Um, First off, this once again, Adepticon. It was great. If you're a miniature gamer, it is the mecca. It was incredible. Bigger and better than last year. They had over 12,000 people registered. And talk to them, they probably had 2 to 3,000 people walk in. But they do if you just want to go walk around the convention, not play any games, not do anything, you can buy from the vendors. It's free. And I don't know how many people I'll talk to, especially families and like groups of 4 or 5 guys that were this there for the day, either Friday or Saturday. I actually talked to a guy that was from North Dakota. Drove down Thursday, spent all day Friday, uh, spent the messed around Friday night and drove back Saturday. And he was just there to look around. Um, Truly amazing. Young families with small kids, and uh, families with big kids. A lot of father son stuff. It was great. The atmospheres, uh, once again, you just have to be there. It's all about gaming. Uh, Huge tournaments. Uh, Doing some quick math. 350 for the 40K tournament. Uh, Multiple tournaments of like 150 people. That's like MCP and other things. Plus, there was multiple like 40K, multiple types of 40K tournaments. They had a huge ballroom. I didn't download a picture of it. I've got a couple, and it's quite impressive. Check them out on my Facebook page, Discovery Games Facebook page. A lot of pictures, incredibly painted miniatures. Golden Demon stuff was incredible. But I personally think Monument Hobbies had a huge booth. They were sponsoring their own painting open competition. Uh, I think there might have been a couple models painted in there that might have been as good as the Golden Demon. Um, right quick, the 165 vendors, something like that. Huge booth. Talked to the guys like Warlord. That was the biggest booth they've ever had. I think it was 3 times bigger than last year. Oh no, it was huge. Um, Biggest booth, Monument was pretty big, pretty big. Uh, by far the busiest booth was Monument the whole time. They actually had guest painters coming in and paint, and I don't know how long they painted. It was a good while, but do like mini classes open. Um, yeah, they had a lot of staff. It was great. StarCraft, huge booth. Trench Crusade, big presence. Of course, Osmodee, which is all the Star Wars games, they had their own hall. Same thing with Games Workshop. They had their own hall where they're having tournaments, and they had all their stuff there. Bunch of small vendors. Real quick, my friend Jackson from March was there. I think maybe once, twice, as I walked by, he didn't have someone in the booth, but most of the time he was swarmed. Same thing with got the hat, 1490 Doom. Uh, they were knee deep several times, 4 or 5 people deep. Um, a lot of people sold out of stuff Thursday, and by noon on Friday. Um, Church Kids books were gone. I think Thursday. StarCraft was gone by I think Friday around noon. Um, yeah, it was busy. People were buying stuff. Several other vendors, including Kirk, I was there with the Insurance Building Authority. That Thursday was probably some of the best Thursdays they had at Adepticon. So not only a lot of people they were buying events. I didn't even get to see everything. Um, the vendor hall was 10 to 6. We could go Thursday. We got there at 8 to finish setting up, but go at 9. So went ate breakfast, ran over there, did whatever we needed to do for a minute or two. Then that's when most of the vendors got to talk to each other, look at stuff. Some vendors were selling before, uh, you know, selling to other vendors at that time. But it was a great time to walk around, talk. So you had about 45 minutes to do that. About 6 o'clock, close the vendor hall. Man, no one was wanting to stay around. It was pretty much nonstop, talking, doing stuff, and once again, like Jackson, him and his wife, girlfriend, I'm not sure which, they were the only two, and like I said, I think he talked nonstop. So we're across from Black Set Studio. Their booth was packed the whole time. Relic Blade uh, was 2 hours over. We see them. Um, they had a line because they had the new 2 player starter and some of the other new releases. They had a line all day Thursday and Friday, and yeah, a couple of guys I wanted to get to talk to. The time I got running on the booth, they were already talking, so really didn't get a chance to talk with them. Probably, I'd say at least half a dozen guys. I saw them, maybe did this to them, and but yeah, it was beyond busy, but in a fun way. Um, we'd go eat, then we'd go walk around 4 floors. I couldn't tell you how many rooms, how many tables. Uh, and once again, the Games Workshop room. I, see, table wise, 500 tables, and I'm being probably conservative on that. But it was great. But yeah, we'd walk around till 9, 10 o'clock and talk once again. Talk to people, watch games. I didn't never had time to do a demo. Most of the demos were during the day, and I'd run away from our booth for maybe 15 minutes and go watch some stuff. And but yeah, get a chance and great food. Had we parked and never moved the vehicle the whole time. Yeah, great food around that area, and it's outstanding. Um, I don't know how many people I never met, probably never meet again, but sit there and have 5-10 minute conversation about whatever. It was truly a blast, and like I said, that atmosphere was great. I'm still tired, to be honest. Got a good night's sleep last night, but it was a full event to say the least. Highlights. Without a doubt, one of the top, if not the top, was um, meeting Cody and Eric from 1490 Doom. Um, And probably the coolest thing, I said their booth was packed all the time. Uh, I got to talk to them a couple times before 10 o'clock, and just for a minute, because once again, like I went by once, and they were doing an interview or talking to other vendors and stuff like that. So, like I said, very busy, even before we opened. But they basically sold out. I did get a couple expansion books. Got stuff from the way. I had already ordered this. I was hoping it would come. Of course, it came on Thursday, and I left Tuesday. But I've got the hat. I've got the hat. Anyway, they ended up selling out pretty much everything. I think they had some of their little ladders and a couple expansion books. But anyway, Saturday, the historical stuff was all the way up. Yeah, four floors back in the corner. And we always started up there and walked down. And went up there, and there was only 2 or 3 tables of historicals at that time Saturday night. But I kind of looked back over, something caught my attention, and there was like 10 or 15 guys on each side of a table, a long table, just hooting and hollering, having a great time. I was like, wow, and that's always something I look for when I'm looking at games and stuff is, guys at the table having fun. And no doubt this group was just having a blast. Then I look at the far end of the table, and there's a 1490 Doom banner. Then I look over, and Cody's leaning up against the wall. And I walk over to him and I said, this got to be, incredible for you guys. And he was just all grins. You have a brand new game, you're selling out everything. And then I'm sure it was probably scheduled, but I don't think it was more than what they expected. And once again, the attitude of the guys playing was awesome. Having a blast. It was just fun. It was fun to watch. And once again, Cody and Eric were there helping, and they were this smiles ear to ear. They were like, this is what it's about, especially as a publisher of a game, just seeing people having a blast playing the game. That was probably the highlight. One single highlight was seeing that 1490 played and seeing the reaction of Cody and Eric to their game. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day is having fun. What else? Like I said, Monument Hobbies just crushed it the whole time. That really wasn't surprising. Wow, I had a list this morning, and I don't know what I did with it, but I actually wrote some stuff down I'm going to talk about. The other thing is, what new game did Alan come away with? Let me get this. This is one. Oasis. Met him last year. Byron Collins, he does Polyversal, and I bought the game. Actually got to play a demo. He did Starship Troopers. And I've talked about my bugs. I've done a little more of my bugs up there. I'm using his rule set. But I'll walk over to the table, and I got to show you this picture. They were like 2 rows over, and at first I didn't even know it was them because this tower, oh man, it was taller than me. Of course, this is on a table and everything. I think this hole from the table up to the top of the that tower is 4 feet. Yeah, it was impressive. The ship, and I'm probably going to do a little video on this on Oasis. The green ship, kind of right in the middle of that picture, they had it magnetized where it actually covered. They had smoke coming out of the tower, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" 6mm sci-fi combined arms game. And talked to him for a good while, and they were doing demos downstairs. And their demos were on the 3rd floor, we're on the 1st floor. So once again, it's a little venture to get there. But I ran down there, and I got other pictures. Like I said, I'll probably do more. But that was one of their ships on the table. Kind of a little picture of the table. Once again, not. I need to get better pictures. Their ships. This is yes, I bought some ships, and that's the size of them, and that's probably the medium ship. So yeah, big stuff. Uh, there's another picture of the tower. So uh, yeah, that was that in 14.9 Doom. Definitely the game highlights for me. And like I said, I'll definitely be talking about more on both those, probably short videos on uh, both those games. Um, Dell, Byron's kind of like the publisher. Collins Epic War Games. He's helping these guys publish the games. Dell is the creative person with the sculpts, doing some artwork, doing all the rules, and incredibly nice guy. Once again, incredibly passionate about his game. Uh, when I was downstairs, he's actually had 3 demo games going at once. Now, 2 of them people had already played, I think, um, and he wouldn't have. In fact, I don't think they asked a question all the time, which tells me he's got a good enough game to play once or twice, and you can play it by yourself. But he had a group of 4, and I was watching their table, and once again, his passion for the game, and it's in beta right now, but his beta outdid most people's actual game. Um, and I know once again they're coming up on their game calendar in July, so most of the stuff I don't say finished product, but definitely draft and working on it. But his stuff was incredible. The cards for the units, his tables were outstanding. Like I said, I wish I could got. Well, I do have some other pictures, but better pictures. But once again, sometimes some of the stuff is hard to photograph. I should have videoed it. And like I said, he was incredibly passionate about the game. So yeah, good stuff. Stompy robots. Uh, I definitely want to do a video. Once again, talk about their game filing coming up and post some more stuff on it. I've already painted some little guys. You guys know I like painting little guys. 6 mil, all the way from little troopers. Like I said, their big ships are going to be big. Um, what else? What else? Once again, it was almost overwhelming. I didn't get to talk to everybody. There were several booths I wanted to go to. Never. I think I made it by the ones, but once again, they were so busy. So even before it opened, just talking to people and stuff. Great conversations about the industry. One of the, of course, the biggest topics is STLs and how to manage STLs. And this is from the business side of the house. Um, Taught painting all day long. Once again, it was if you're from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night at least, with about probably 2 hour break in there, um, nonstop talking about games. So Sunday was a little shorter, so 3.5 days. Yeah, good stuff. But anyway, I think um, what? Yeah, it's getting late. This is already running 20 minutes. I knew I was wanting to do this short video tonight. Um, But I want to do more stuff on Adepticon. I need to get my act together and have more pictures and files I can post, and talk more about Adepticon and more about said 1490. And great game. We're gonna be playing it, having fun here. Also, I think play Teach Ralph tomorrow, and then Oasis, which is coming up. And I can't leave out Moonstone. I got all the gnomes are painted now, so I have all painted gnomes. It was fun. They had a small tournament. I tried to find it. I wasn't didn't have time. I don't know. I never found it. Um, Top Moonstone with multiple people. Definitely, I think a game that continues to gain interest in visibility out there. So yeah, I could say we're probably talking an hour, just going all the vendors, all the games. I need to get a hold of Mac. Sean, who I know through the internets and stuff, was doing Drowned Earth, and his tables look great. Um, Morderheim tables look great. Um, I will say, and I know when you're doing 185 whatever tables, but the 40K tables were boring. Historical tables, I'd say not 90% of them were incredible. The other 10% were just good. Uh, I think a couple of the historical tables won awards for their game and tables. Yeah, their classes. Martin was there. He's doing painting classes. It's actually become because it's about miniatures. There is other stuff too. Don't get me wrong. There was board games. There's role playing stuff. Um, but more and more on painting miniatures. More and more companies they're selling paint. Um, Miniatures, ah, incredible. Of course, you had Creature Caster. What's the other name of the company? Oh, their booth was about 3 times larger this year, and they had incredible miniatures. There's someone that had another one that had some dragons, and when I took the picture to get scale, put my hand up, and the dragons were like 3 times my hands. It was great. Just right quick. Anything else I wanted to mention? Um, Free Blades, my Free Blades friends were there. I had their new models. I never made it back over. I was gonna buy some of them. They may have sold out. Their new pirates, very nice. They definitely up in their game on their miniatures. What else? What else? I don't know. Too much. Too much. And well, I'm gonna run. This is already 20, almost 25 minutes now. So, but there will be more if I get my act together the next couple days. If not, I'll do it next week. More videos on Adepticon. Everybody have a great what's tomorrow? A great Thursday, and we'll see you around. Thanks.